Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a better person after watching this video. Simple login instructions took an hour to complete. This is my first post here and wanted to say this is my usual go-to story for stupidity, TLDR at bottom. Backstory. My first job out of college was tech support for a company that helped people find jobs. We supported people who worked in the company, as well as people who were looking for work or looking for workers. The position I worked was a tech analyst for the company's call center. Story time. Usual day of callers calling in about general issues or trouble with our registration website. Let me tell you, things get a bit picky with our online registration website. I get a caller, who's an older gentleman, I will call OG, trying to log in at the library to do online paperwork. For our online registration, you're giving a username and password via email. Username is always the first name dot last name and the password is 5 random numbers that are generated. Well, we start off the call making sure I can find him in our database. I was able to find him fairly quickly. He was getting the message that the username and password are not working. I walk him through doing a password reset. We go through this process because sometimes the recruiter invites twice and the first password becomes invalid. What I didn't know was OG was not the best with computers to begin with. After we submitted the email to do the password reset, OG proceeded to go to his email via the following route: google.com, search yahoo.com, go to Yahoo Mail once on the Yahoo homepage. I explained how to get there faster, but he pecked the keys and did not care to listen. After about 5 minutes of letting it do it his way, he finally got back to his email. Password reset was there. It takes him a few minutes to then click the link to get back to the registration. Sure enough, he still can't log in. Verified username should be first name dot last name, OG confirmed. I regretted asking him to go back to his email, but we needed to make sure his username was correct. His name came up with a few results and sometimes the system added numbers after the last name so it would read first name dot last name 2 for example. Well, another 5+ minutes and we found the first email. Username was correct and had no numbers in it. Another few minutes and we get back to the login page. OG tells me he's typing everything incorrectly but it isn't working. He ends up reading off whatever the newest password was. We aren't supposed to try and log in as the user, but at this point we're around 45 minutes into the call. I do a quick try and I'm suddenly in. I now know he's typing his username wrong. The conversation that followed I still remember very vividly. Me. Alright, just to make sure, for your username you're typing first dot last name with no commas, slashes, dashes, hyphens or anything. 4-second pause. What's the difference between a comma and a period? At that moment I was ready to blow up. I can't believe what I had just heard. My voice drops its cheery tone and I say in a low voice. You see the M key on the keyboard? To the right of it is the comma, to the right of that is the period. Push the period. After that he was able to log in, but what he also didn't do was read that Firefox is not a supported browser for the online registration, so we spent another 10 to 15 minutes doing the same routine of Google, Yahoo, Yahoo Mail, registration website through Internet Explorer, and we were finally able to get him in. I hung up the call after telling him to have a great day. I threw my headset on the desk and went on my break. Hope you enjoyed the story. TLDR. Online registration asked for first name dot last name. Troubleshooted to find out who was using comma instead of period, which resulted in an hour-long headache call. I've definitely had this sort of problem with many customers. Us women have to stick together. So I'm a tier 2 level advisor, which means that I never get the first contact from the customer. Tier 1 gets them, and if the customer needs escalation for whatever reason, Tier 1 consults and then transfers the customer to me. Now, names are actually pretty important in this story, so as a disclaimer, all names are fake. I get a consult from Tier 1 who I'll just call Samantha. It's a basic call where the customer wants a refund. We can't provide it, customer wants a supervisor because she's entitled. Cue me. Samantha tells me what's going on, and I accept the call. While the three of us are connected, Sam does the typical thing where she introduces me to the customer. Samantha. Alright, I have my supervisor here. I can't promise we can get a refund though. Perfect, and thank you so much for all your help up until now. Us women have to stick together. I'm actually in a horrible divorce with my jerk of a husband Richard right now. You're very welcome. So I have my supervisor Richard who's going to assist you from here. Thanks for contacting us and have a great day. Bye! Disconnects. Thanks for contacting us. My name is Richard and how can I help you today? Sorry about that. I'm sure there's a lot of great Richards. You know the comic book hero, Nightwing? His name is Richard. Yeah, I guess it is. The customer spent the entire call flustered as all hell, and when I explained that we could not issue a refund, she was convinced that I wasn't giving her a refund because of my name and what she said about it. To her credit, there was no yelling, but wow. Since these are fake names, I should mention that it wasn't Nightwing she referenced, but some other hero with my name. As I've said in my previous Tales from Call Centers video, I've worked in many call centers in the past, and in one call center we were always trained to use the customer's first name to help build rapport, and it never failed to make me smile when I would conference a customer into the call with the same name as a tier 2 advisor, hearing them say something like, "Hi David, you're now speaking with David. So David, I hear you're looking for X, Y, and Z." Why you shouldn't be jerks to customer service reps. Fair warning, I'm writing this on mobile, so ignore any spelling mistakes you see. I work as an operator at a roadside assistance hotline, one of those membership-based type of deals. Now, our mentorship program has a lot of rules and regulations to it, and because they didn't read the fine print, our members sometimes aren't aware of them until they call in for a request that we can't do, so I'm often the bearer of bad news. However, our regulations aren't set in stone. Depending on the situations our members are in, we can make exceptions for them at the operator's discretion. Member calls in, he wants his car towed. Not a problem, we do this all the time. Except this guy was a massive jerk. He must have already been pissed off before he called because this guy was so irritable, constant frustrated sighs, an angry tone, dropping a liberal amount of F-bombs, and snapping at me for the dumbest things. For example, I asked him for his vehicle information and his reply was, "Can't you see it on my file?" He had more than one car on file. In between his angry and snappy comments and angry sighs, I managed to piece together his story. He had actually had his car towed earlier that day, but the garage he'd been towed to was charging him a crazy price for repairs, so he wanted to get towed elsewhere so he could get a better price. Now, this is one of those things that's against regulations. We don't do retows. For example, if a member gets towed from A to B and then later wants it towed from B to C, their membership would not cover that second tow. This is one of those things where depending on the specifics, I could have made an exception for the second tow. You know what? In this case, I actually could have done it. That place it was towed to is kinda locally infamous for charging stupid prices. My supervisor said it was okay to authorize retows from there. All that was needed was my go-ahead. But at the time, my only thought was, F this guy, so I just didn't do it. I broke the bad news and cited the no retows policy as the reason. He tried to argue the point, but I just apologized to him and said it was policy, out of my hands. Dude eventually gave up, not before telling me to shove that policy where the sun doesn't shine, and hung up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't take out your frustrations on service people trying to help you. The motivation to go the extra mile just won't be there. I used to work at a company. So I started about a year ago at a call center for a type of medical insurance. This one got transferred to me from a less experienced rep. "Hi, thank you for calling customer service. This is OP, escalation specialist. How can I help you today? I need to speak to someone who actually knows what they're talking about." "Alright, absolutely, I'd be happy to help you with that. I understand this is about your recent rate increase?" "Yes, it is. I don't understand why I'm receiving a rate increase this year when I never have before. And why is it so much? I can't afford that and the bill is due next month." "Well, ma'am, I'm sorry to hear that. From what I'm looking at here, it looks like your rate went up around the same time last year and the year before. This increase is probably on the lower end of the increases I've seen this year. It may look like a lot because you're paying annually. It comes to about $5 a..." "I don't care what it comes out to, I just can't afford it. I mean, this is ridiculous. I only get a month to decide whether to pay this or not." "Yes, ma'am, the state requires us to give you a 30-day notice that the rate is increasing. Would you like to switch to a different mode of payment? Maybe a monthly payment would be more manageable than..." "This is ridiculous." "Ma'am, please don't raise your..." "I want to speak to Katie Szymanski." "I'm sorry, ma'am, who? I'm not aware of a Katie Szymanski." "I know you know who she is. Now transfer me." "Okay, ma'am, just hold on one moment and I'll look into that for you." Good. So after some digging, I realised that the letters in regards to the increase are signed up by the insurance company VP, Katie Szymanski. "Thank you for holding. Alrighty, so I won't be able to transfer you to Mrs. Szymanski as she doesn't take calls, but I'd be happy to give you the address where you can send her a letter. 0% chance it'll ever get where it's going." "This is illegal." "I'm sorry?" "You heard me. This is illegal. Her name is on my letter, which means that I am legally allowed to speak to her." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I simply can't transfer you to the VP of a company with thousands of employees. That's what I'm here for, to take your call. I can give you the address to send your complaint, but that's the best I can do in this scenario." "This is bull. I used to work for a company, you know. I used to get the VP, the VIP, the CEO, hell, even the president on the phone every single day. I know you're lying, and this is illegal. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" "Anything else? You didn't help me in the first place. I gave you the solutions that I'm allowed to offer you. Is there anything else I can help you with? If you can't help me, I'll cancel my policy." "Alright, ma'am, just give me one moment to get that set up for you." And she hangs up. Okay, so that's it for r/Tales from Call Centers. I really hope you do enjoy this one. I love doing these stories as it's so close to home. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!